Welcome to your first lesson of Grammar Time. Today we're going to be talking about capital letters in writing. The major question that we're going to be answering through this lesson today is, when do you use a capital letter? Believe it or not, capital letters belong in a few specific places and nowhere else. Okay? Some writers suffer from capitalitis. They put capital letters on words without really thinking about whether they should be there. By the end of this lesson, our hope is that we can cure you of this capitalitis and that you could be free from it forever. So what we hope that you gain from this lesson is an understanding of when you should use capital letters and when you shouldn't. Okay? Because speaking in all capital letters is not cool. It just looks like you're angry and you're yelling at everyone. The first place that you should see a capital letter is if it is the first word of a sentence, a direct quotation, or a sentence from a quotation. So if it is the first word of this sentence or quotation, it should be capitalized. For example, in this example down here, are you illiterate? Write us today for free help. The A in R is capitalized because it's the first word of a sentence. The W in write is capitalized because it is a new sentence and it is the first word. Okay? Look at the next example here. The supermodel cooed, I just love the confidence makeup gives me. Okay, so in this example here, the T is capitalized because it is the first letter of a sentence. Okay? And the I is capitalized because even though this isn't a new sentence, this is still within the same sentence, it is the first word of a direct quotation. Okay, so these little marks here that look like this, that open and close this, these are quotation marks, which means that someone is saying it. So if it is the first word in a quotation that is directly taken from what someone has said, then that would be capitalized as well. So what I would like you to do is do this first exercise. We'll do the first example together. We'll do the first one together, and then I would like you to pause the video and try some on your own. So in question 1, it says, many of us can sympathize with Alexander Wolcott, who said, all the things I really like to do are immoral, illegal, or fattening. So the places in this sentence where I would add capital letters are, first of all, at the very beginning of the sentence. Many is the first word of the sentence, so it should have a capital M. It's a little bit messy. There we go. A capital M. The next place that I should see a capital letter is where? That's correct. It should be when the quotation begins. So even though this is all one sentence, where the all is, there should be a capital A. Okay. Please pause this video and try the next 3 examples on your own. Okay, hopefully you've had a chance to try them. Let's go through the answers. The first one is, I've been engaging in the pursuit of happiness all my life. Unfortunately, that you should be capitalized because it's the first word of a sentence. When I found it, I discovered I couldn't afford it. 3, who should be capitalized because it's the beginning of a quotation. Knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men. Only the shadows know. Only the shadow knows, so only should also be capitalized. 4, having forgotten our anniversary for the 4th time in 5 years, I agree with Mark Twain, who asked, what, should be capitalized, ought to be done with the man who invented the celebration of anniversaries. Mere killings would be too light, and so mere is a new sentence that should also be capitalized. You would also use a capital letter if you are naming a specific person, place, or thing. For example, Shania Twain. You would capitalize both her first and last name because she is a person and this is her name. Senator Ann Cools. Even though there are 3 parts, you would capitalize all 3 because it is the name of a specific person. Stanley Park is the name of a place. Lake Superior. Cape Breton Island. These are all places, so you would capitalize each part of the name. If, for example, you were referring to a park that park was not part of the name, So let's say, for example, there's a park called Oak Valley, and it was just referred to as Oak Valley, and people knew it was a park even though it didn't have park in the name. In that case, if you were talking about it and you said, oh, Oak Valley is a park, you would not capitalize park when you wrote about it because it was not part of the name. However, with Stanley Park, park is part of the name Stanley Park, so you would capitalize both parts of it. Okay? Other places, names of hotels or universities or colleges like Fairmont Queen Elizabeth Hotel or McGill University, again, you capitalize all parts of the name. Let's try an example together. Question 1, just to make this a little bit smaller, there we go. Question 1 says, one of my favorite newspaper headlines appeared when the world's largest ship was being repaired. It read, Queen Mary having bottom scraped. Okay, where would I add capital letters here? Well, in this case, Queen Mary, that's listed right here, this is the name of a ship or a boat. And because it is a name or a proper noun, I would capitalize the Q and I would capitalize the M. Queen Mary are the names, okay? Pause the video and try the next 4. Yep, there are 4 more. Try the next 4 by yourself. Okay, let's go through the answers. The next question says, at Loblaws supermarket, oh, you guys probably don't know what Loblaws is unless you are from Ontario. Loblaws is kind of like Superstore in that it sells President's Choice brand. And it's a very popular grocery store in Ontario. So in this sentence here, at the Loblaws supermarket, we had a quarrel over whether to buy cornflakes made by Kellogg, Post, Quaker, or President's Choice. Okay? So there are a lot of names of brands or places in this sentence. The first thing I would capitalize is the L in Loblaws because Loblaws is the name of the store. However, I would not capitalize supermarket because it's not called Loblaws Supermarket. Supermarket is not part of the name. Supermarket is a descriptor that is describing what Loblaws is. It's kind of like saying Save on Foods supermarket. You wouldn't say supermarket is part of the name. Rather, it's a descriptor of what it is. The next thing I would capitalize is the K in Kellogg because Kellogg is a brand and so therefore it is a name of a brand. I would also capitalize the P in Post, the Q in Quaker, the P and the C in President's Choice because this whole thing, President's Choice, is the brand that they sell at Loblaws and Superstore. Question 3 says, the valley of the St. John River in New Brunswick is one of the most beautiful drives along the Trans-Canada Highway. In this sentence, I would capitalize Saint, okay, the S in Saint. I would capitalize the J in John because both Saint and John are referring to the place. I would also capitalize river in this case, okay? That's kind of a trickier one, and I guess you would kind of need to know that St. John River is the name of the river. And the N in New Brunswick would also be capitalized. The next thing that would be capitalized is the T in trans, the C in Canada, and the H in highway, because the Trans-Canada Highway is the name of the highway that sprawls across Canada. Trans-Canada means it goes across or crosses Canada. And because it's all part of the name, Trans-Canada Highway is the whole name for it, you would capitalize each part of it. Okay? Question 4 says, when you visit the Niagara Peninsula in southern Ontario, I'll take you to some of the region's smallest and best wineries, such as Featherstone, Calamus, Lakeview, and Lenco. So, the first thing I'm going to capitalize here is Niagara, the N in Niagara, and the P in Peninsula, because these are places. Niagara Peninsula is the name of a place. The next thing I would capitalize is Ontario, the O in Ontario, okay? I would not capitalize the S in Southern, okay? This is an important point. Directions like north, south, east, west, you do not capitalize the first letter of a direction or a navigational instruction but you would only capitalize Ontario, the O in Ontario. Southern, you would not need to capitalize because it's not the name of it. It is describing what part of Ontario it is. I'll take you to some of the region's smallest and best wineries, such as Featherstone, Calamus, Lakeview, and Lenco. All of these are names of wineries, so we would capitalize all 4 of them because they are proper nouns or names of these wineries. 5. Since my favorite music group is Taffel Music and yours is Spiked Eardrums, seems unlikely that we will bump into each other at music stores or concerts. We can assume, based on the context, even though we've never heard of Taffel Music before, that this is the name of a band and Spiked Eardrums is also the name of the band, and therefore both would be capitalized. Another time that you use capital letters is if you are referring to a major historical event, historical periods, a religion, a holy text, or holy days. For example, World War II. All parts of that would be capitalized because it's a major historical event. The Depression, the Renaissance. If you were referring to Islam, Judaism, Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, or any other religion, that would be capitalized. If you were referring to the Torah, the Quran, the Bible, these are all holy texts, so they would be capitalized. If you were referring to Ramadan, Yom Kippur, Easter, Christmas, these are all holy days, and they would also be capitalized. Okay, so let's try, we'll do the first one together again, and then you'll pause the video. Question 1 says, many of the celebrations we think of as originating in the last 2,000 years have much older roots. Halloween and Easter are 2 such festivals. So, yes, you are correct. Both of these are festivals or holidays, so we would capitalize the H in Halloween and the E in Easter. Okay? Pause the video and try the next 3 on your own. Okay, let's go through them. Question 2 says, the celebration of Christmas would be capitalized, has its origins in ancient Babylon, where the birth of the son of Isis would be capitalized, is marked by feasting and gift-giving. 3, the Romans, because they're a people group, they would be capitalized. 2, had a traditional celebration called Saturnalia, which would also be capitalized, held at the end of December. The tradition of seasonal songs known to us as carols began in the Roman times. 4, the Christmas tree, Christmas would be capitalized, and mistletoe date from pagan celebrations called Yule. Yule would also be capitalized because it is the name of a festival. However, in this case here, northern would not be capitalized, so this is good. Leave lowercase because we do not capitalize directions like northern or southern or eastern or western, but only places. Okay, 4. You also use a capital letter when you are writing out the days of the week, months of the year, and specific holidays. However, you do not use capital letters for seasons. So if you are saying summer, winter, fall, autumn, spring, you would not use a capital letter. But you would use one for the days of the week, months of the year, and specific holidays. So let's just do these 2 together. Question 1 says, because of the difference between the 2 nations' climates, Canada celebrates Thanksgiving in October, while the United States observes it in November. So the first thing that you would capitalize is the C in Canada. The next thing you would capitalize is the T in Thanksgiving, the O in October, the U and the S in United States, and the N in November, because Thanksgiving is a specific holiday. October and November are months. United States and Canada, those are both places. Okay? There's actually one other error in this sentence that has an unnecessary capital letter. Okay? Can anyone guess where this unnecessary capital letter is? The unnecessary capital letter is actually right here, okay? This N here for nations should just be a lowercase n because it's not referring to a specific nation that's called nation. It's referring to the two nations. It's referring to a nation. And so it's just a regular noun or thing, but it is not a proper noun or a name. So in this case, we would not need a capital letter for this. Okay? Take a look at the next one here, question 2. It says, in the spring in Alberta, we change our clocks to daylight savings time, while in autumn, we revert to mountain standard time. Okay? There are two mistakes in this, okay, where there are capital letters where there shouldn't be. Okay, I'm going to use green again for this. The first one is here, where it says spring. Okay? Remember that seasons should not be capitalized, so this should be lowercase. And also, autumn should be lowercase, okay? So I'm just going to cross this out. It should be lowercase for both spring and autumn because they are seasons. Okay, there's also a couple things, a couple points where capital letters should be added, and they are to daylight savings time, okay? Daylight savings time is the name of that time of the year where you set your clocks back or turn them forward, and that is a name of a specific day or time of year. So we would capitalize all parts of that. We would also capitalize mountain, standard, and time. We would capitalize each of those. This is because this is the name, okay, of a time zone, okay? It's the name of a time zone we call mountain standard time. The fifth reason that you would use a capital letter is if you're referring to the major words in a title. So if you're talking about the title of either a book, a magazine, a film, an essay, a poem, a song, a work of art, you would use capital letters on the major words. So I think that this is one of the more complicated uses of capital letters because you don't capitalize everything in the title. Okay, so it says here, do not capitalize minor words. Okay, so articles, prepositions, conjunctions. Okay, these are things like a conjunction is something that links two clauses together. So things like and, to, so, for, but, stuff like this that are just smaller of. Okay, we would not capitalize or things like this, articles, prepositions, conjunctions. However, we would capitalize all of the major words that are in a title. Okay, look at these examples here. Okay, the one exception is unless the word, so one of these, unless one of these conjunctions, articles, or prepositions is the first word or the last word of the title. Okay, so this might be a little bit confusing right now, but hopefully once we go through these examples, it'll give you a better picture of what I'm talking about. The first example here is a book, I'm assuming, called The Colony of Unrequited Dreams. Okay? Notice that all of the major words here, so colony, unrequited, and dreams, are capitalized. The other thing that's capitalized is the. The is an article, okay? It's a small kind of minor word. However, because it appears first in the sentence, or in the title, because it appears first, we would capitalize it. Same thing goes with of mice and men, okay? Mice and men are the two major words. Of is just an article. It's a small word, but because it appears first, we would capitalize it, okay? Notice that the of here is not capitalized and the and here is not capitalized. This is because these minor words are not at the beginning or the end of the sentence, and if they're just in the middle of the title, you would not capitalize them, okay? McLean's is pretty straightforward. It's the name of a magazine and it is capitalized. A room with a view, okay? In this example here, A is capitalized even though it's very minor because it comes first. But then when it comes later, over here, it is not capitalized. So when it's later in the title, it is not capitalized. So let's try this together. We'll do the first one together and then you will try some on your own. So this is 4.5. Number one of the shortest books ever written is entitled Fine Wines of Finland. Okay, so this is the title of the book, Fine Wines of Finland. So I would capitalize fine, I would capitalize wine. Would I capitalize of if this is my title? No, I would not, because it appears in the middle. So I would leave of, but I would capitalize Finland. Okay? Try the next three together, or on your own. Okay, let's go through them. Question 2 says, C.S. Lewis' book, The Chronicles of Narnia, are made into a series of films, just as his friend J.R.R. Tolkien's works were made into the popular Lord of the Rings movies. So we have a couple of titles. First one here is The Chronicles of Narnia. In this case, the is a minor word. However, I would capitalize it because it comes first in the sentence or in the title. So this is an example where I would capitalize it. I would capitalize Chronicles. I would capitalize Narnia. Would I capitalize of? No, because it's in the middle. Okay? The next title is Lord of the Rings. I would capitalize Lord. Would I capitalize of or the? No, because they're both minor words and they appear in the middle of the title. However, I would capitalize rings, so it would be Lord of the Rings. Question 3, the National Post. Both of those I would capitalize because it's the name of a movie reviewer. The National Post movie reviewer thought The Dukes of Hazzard was a lousy movie, and for once, I agreed with him. Okay, so the first word here, the, is a minor word, but it is the first word. So I would capitalize the. Dukes, I would leave of, and I would capitalize Hazard. Okay, last one. Edvard Munch's well-known painting, The Scream, is a haunting expression of the pain and pessimism of his early work. Because The Scream is the name of a painting, I would capitalize both the and Scream. Last but not least, you would use a capital letter if you're referring to the names of specific school courses. For example, okay, so this, we're just going to do these exercises together to give you a picture of it. Question 1, I don't normally mind physics, okay, but Physics 201 is my least favorite subject this term, coming far behind Sociology 200 and even English. In this case here, I would capitalize physics here, but I would not capitalize it here. I would leave it lowercase. Okay, so leave lowercase. The reason why is because this reference here to physics is talking about the subject of physics. Okay, and the subject of physics doesn't need to be capitalized. However, when it becomes a specific school course, like Physics 206, a university course, or even if you said, oh, I have physics class, Physics 101, grade 11 physics, whatever it is. If that was the name of the class, then you would capitalize it. Okay? So the next thing in this sentence I would capitalize is the S on Sociology 200, because that is the name of a course. And then the last thing I would capitalize, I would actually capitalize English here. Okay? And this is a little bit confusing, because even though English is not necessarily the name of a subject, it is a language. And so if it's a language, if the course happens to be a language, then we would just capitalize it. We would always capitalize it if it happened to be a language as well that you were studying. Okay? Question 2. Our professor for an introduction to film was a math major in university. Okay? So in this case here, the course name, the whole course name is an introduction to film. Okay? So in this case, I would capitalize N, I would capitalize introduction, and I would capitalize film. But I would not, it's similar to kind of a movie title or book title, I would not capitalize the to because it's just a minor word. Okay? And in this case here, I have an example of a word that is capitalized but shouldn't be, okay, and it is math, okay? Math should be lowercase. The M on math should be lowercase because it's not referring to the specific name of a course that you're taking, a school course. It's just the subject of math. So the subject of math should not be capitalized. Last one here is the prerequisites for Hospitality and Tourism 401. So in this case, this is the name of the course, Hospitality and Tourism 401. So I would need to capitalize the H and the T. Include a firm grasp on the basics of accounting, event management, food handling, and computer applications. Okay, so in this case here, I would not capitalize any of these because these are all saying has a firm grasp, which means has a good understanding or covers within this course. These are all just topics that are going to be covered. They're not the names of courses, but they're all just topics, so I would not capitalize those. We have now come to the point of the video labeled homework, which means this is work for you to do individually at home. You will bring this into your next class where your teacher will go through the answers with you, probably early next week, and then you'll have a chance to correct that before you have your quiz. Thanks for watching.